Hi, I'm Bob Ryan. This is Globe 10.0. With me today is Charles Pierce. Charlie, we have an interesting circumstance looming at midnight on the 30th of June, i.e. / July 1. We could have, and we probably will have, 2 of our 4 major sports leagues out of business. I mean, at least not conducting business. NBA's ready to go out. What do you make of all this?
I'm going to briefly editorialize on something that drives me crazy. A lockout is not a hurricane. It's not a tsunami. It's not a natural product of the marketplace, to use a phrase beloved by our conservative friends. Lockout is a management tactic. If David Stern doesn't want a lockout, he doesn't have to have a lockout. Lockouts are a tactic, just as a strike is a tactic. Strikes don't happen accidentally.
Well, they've been salivating for this lockout for
Absolutely.
2 years.
And I learned during the collusion days in baseball that everything management says about its financial condition is a lie. I don't believe 75% of the NBA franchises lose.
You really don't?
Lose. But no, I don't think he goes to China and talks to investors and the 11 gajillion possible consumers of NBA goods and says, invest in our product. 75% of our franchises are losing money. Come on. I mean, he does it for the sake of negotiating in this country, and I don't blame him. But the fact is, if the NBA doesn't want a lockout, it doesn't have to have a lockout.
Oh, it wants one.
Yeah.
Because now one of the problems we found out in football is that there's owner versus owner. That seems to be more and more the case in some of these. Basketball, we have another situation where we have a lot of nouveau rich owners that have gotten in maybe over their heads and want a little relief that they hope David Stern can provide.
I think that David Stern has one advantage over Roger Goodell in that I think his ownership group, I think they're united behind him. I'm less sure about that in the NFL right now.
All right.
Because for some reason, and I don't understand why, NFL owners seem to have bigger egos than NBA owners.
Let's get back to the NBA for a second, because the question is, in the pecking order of American sport, how much would America have a collective yawn if they were to go out? I mean, they are coming off what we thought was a pretty productive season and a pretty good playoffs.
Yeah, I think it would have a much bigger impact than the NHL did. The NHL lost an entire season. Does anybody remember?
Barely.
I mean, it was gone for a year. The NBA is an international phenomenon.
It is.
And I think the global impact of losing the NBA is probably bigger than the global impact of losing any of our 4 sports.
Well, there's far more cross-cultural impact. Right. I mean, to be blunt, and racial. In fact, with the NBA versus the NHL. I mean, the fan base of the NBA is a lot broader in every way, I think, than the fan base of the NHL. So that's not the comparison. But the fact is that I think that we can safely conclude that doom and gloom, however, in terms of there being a lockout is almost is the way to go.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a lockout because David Stern has decided to have a lockout. That's what's going to happen.
All right, so get ready. Lockout.